Here with Sean Kearney, the new head coach at Holy Cross. Coach, big shoes to fill, and how do you go about that? What's your approach to replacing a legend?
Well, I think that we have to go about it every day, try and instill the things that we want to do within our program in terms of both on the offensive end and the defensive end. And I think that we just have to go about it every day and try and get to work and get all of that stuff in, and then work on it and improve every day.
Now, when you talk about instilling the new things you want to do on both ends, defensively, and we talked about this when I talked to you for Blue Ribbon in the summer, Ralph's system with the matchup always had been viewed as a big key to his success there. And I know your system's going to be different, but you had talked about retaining some of that. Is that still in the plans?
Yeah, absolutely. I always tease everybody that as Coach Willard left town, I asked him to leave the notes for the matchup zone in the desk. So he did that, and I'll work on that as we move forward. I think the system that I'm more comfortable with is a little bit more of an offensive system. That sounds all well and good until we start playing, and so far so good. Right now here in October, and we are still undefeated like everybody else in the room. But we're trying to do a little bit more on the offensive end, trying to get out and run, trying to create some easier opportunities for us in the half court. We've been a little bit more motion, but then I'm also more comfortable on the defensive end, coaching man-to-man defense. But I will not be so stubborn as to not use some of the great, some of the great zones, that Coach Willard employed with his group. As I look to change defenses and do a variety of things. One of the things that I'm really blessed with is that I have terrific young men who are terrifically skilled players who play incredibly hard. So it's a great way to start a new position at a new school.
It's not often that a new coach coming in to take over a program, usually that's a rebuilding situation. The coach left because they were forced out. You're coming in and inheriting a lot of talent. Does that make the job a lot easier?
Well, I'd say in some ways a lot easier. In some ways, certainly the expectations are high, so that brings the added situation to it. But I am pleased to have a chance to come in, with such talented guys who are so well coached and so well trained that as we go right into practice, there's a lot to work with from day one.
A lot of those guys are familiar to the people around the league. People like Andrew Keister and R.J. Evans, both first-team All-League preseason picks in the coaches pool here. But talk a little bit about some of the new faces and who might step up and contribute that Holy Cross fans and Patriot League fans might not be familiar with.
Well, I think the first name that has to come up is Mike Cavateo. Mike is from New York City originally. He transferred to us from St. John's, sat out last year. A unique wing player along with an R.J. Evans, who I would describe maybe two of the more unique wing guys in the league, in that I wouldn't call them terrific outside shooters, but they are terrific scorers, and they can really get to the basket, make plays for themselves, but also for others. And a Cavateo who can score it on drives, but also more of a mid-range shooter, but a guy who can get to the offensive glass as well. And I look forward to really having a group that really kinds of tries to pound the backboard on the offensive end.
And replacing, last year, you lost Pat Daugherty, who was a point guard. He was, injured and didn't play a lot of minutes, but provided a lot of leadership, and seemed that when he was at the point, things always seemed to go a little better. Andrew Beinert has played a lot there in the past, and the rap on Andrew in the past has been that he's really more of a two-guard playing the point. How's he adjusting now to being the man at the point?
Well, he's adjusted very well. I think that overall he is our best guard in terms of decision-making and understanding, and certainly helping me and get more of my offensive system installed, getting the ball in the right places, understanding roles, and yet at the same time, if he has any open looks, he's got to shoot the ball for us. A guy who shoots that percentage and leads the Patriot League last year from the three-point line, I've got to find ways to get him shots, and certainly shots from the three-point line.
And he really was the only three-point threat for Holy Cross last year. Is there anybody else that's shooting the ball from outside? Is that going to be an improved area?
I think it will be an improved area. I think one of the things things that we've got to make sure we do is to take open shots and not challenge three-point shots, or three-point shots where we're off balance and not in good position. In terms of other guys who are going to be capable for us from there, Adam May is a skilled forward, that played a good role in Coach Willard's system, but I think he may have a little bit more of an improved role, in our system this year. Devin Brown is a very good perimeter threat. Just want to help him be a little bit more consistent, along with Cavateo and Evans, who are going to make an occasional three for us.
Any of you freshmen that you expect to see significant roles?
Of our 4 freshmen, I think that 2 guys have stepped up a little bit more. Jordan Stevens, a 6'4", 6'5" wing player, a lefty out of the Albany area, has been a good player for us. And then Phil Beans, 6'8", 6'9", strong insider with really good hands, and has been able to score around the basket to complement both Andrew Keister and Eric Meister.
You're not the only person who struggles with that around the league. Talk a little bit about Andrew and just what he brings. If you can keep him healthy this year, what he could do.
Well, I think that one of the things I've been most impressed with from the very first day I got with this group was the physicalness of the group and the bodies that we had. And certainly at or near the top of that list is Keister. He's got good bounce, he's got good size and hands, and I think at times, hopefully, will be very, very difficult guy for the rest of this league to defend. Got to put him in positions to score it, try and get him the ball in close to the basket, make a power move, but also be very good on the offensive boards.
Just give us a little summary of what you're expecting from your team this year.
Well, I think that in a very difficult non-conference schedule, I want us to be incredibly competitive, and improve each week. I think that's really going to be important for us, especially in a situation where we are doing some things a little bit differently. That we show that improvement along with gathering some wins along the way, but that come January we're in a position to compete every night in this league. Certainly challenge for a regular season title, and hopefully be playing on Friday afternoon, for the Patriot League Championship.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.